There's loads more to come in part 2 of this very special programme. John Pearson will be joining me once again as well to give us his thoughts on the game and also to look back at what was a very special day at the Millennium Stadium in 2005 when Wednesday beat Hartlepool to win the League One playoff final. Let's hope they can do the same now, of course, in the Championship against the Tigers. That's exactly what the supporters are hoping for. And here's some more of your good luck messages.
Alright, rolling on one, big time.
This is Chris and James Howlett from Newcastle. Die hard Wednesday. Come on, lads, you can do it. Carlos, you're our king. Up the Owls!
We love you, Kieran Westwood.
Hey, that's my missus.
Carlos had a dream to build a football team. We had no players, so we had to sign them on loan. We're built from the back, with Joe in attack. We're Sheffield Wednesday, we're on our way back. Come on Wednesday, we're proud of you.
Hi guys, this is Gary Greensmith, how are you all? This is a little message to Carlos Carvalho and all his troops out there. Let's get out there, have a good day, enjoy yourselves, soak up the atmosphere, it'll be electric. Let's get our Premiership status back. We are Sheffield Wednesday, we're on our way back. We're all Wednesday, aren't we? Good luck guys, all the best for Saturday.
It's James here from the Wednesday week, as you can see. Just about ready for Wembley. I've got my ticket sorted, I've got the hotel sorted, the train is sorted, figured out where I'm going to meet up with the rest of the podcast guys for a drink before the game, so can't think what else we need now. Oh yeah, a win. Do you know what, it's been a brilliant season, hasn't it? It was a real pleasure to be down at Brighton on Monday for the playoff semi-final second leg. The celebrations were just phenomenal, and that sums up the season. It's been a brilliant season. There's been highs, there's been lows, but there's been more highs than there has lows. We've seen some great football, we've seen some amazing goals, we really have, and stuff that we've just not seen as Wednesday fans for years and years and years. So whatever happens on Saturday, we've had a brilliant season, and we just need just one more high, just one more massive effort from the guys. We're 90 minutes away from reclaiming our place in the Premier League, and you know what, I can't wait. It's going to be brilliant. I am nervous about Saturday, I'm not going to lie about that. I really am nervous about Saturday, but all season we've trusted in Carlos, and we are where we are today. So for one last time, let's say, in Carlos we trust. Good luck to the guys, and we're going to be cheering you on from the first minute to the last minute, whatever happens. And safe journey down for everyone who's off down to Wembley, and hope to see some of you as well for a swift pint before the match, or maybe after the match, when we'll be celebrating long into the night, won't we? Come on Wednesday.
Keith Waters from Worksop. A big welcome from Colombo, Sri Lanka, where we've lived for the last 13 years. I'm the unofficial Sheffield Wednesday supporters club in Sri Lanka. We tune in every week to the games. A big thank you to Rob, John and all the team. Coverage has been excellent. Also a big thank you to Carlos and all the team, playing extremely well this season. The very best of luck for Saturday. I've got my ticket and we'll be flying home for the match. All the very best. Come on Wednesday.
Hi, I'm Rob, Berkshire Owl to my friends. I've been an owl for 50 years and I remember wearing this shirt at the time when I was a kid. In those 50 years I've been through a lot of highs and lows with Wednesday. I have to say that last Friday at Hillsborough was probably the best night there I have ever had. This year, current players, for me, they're up there with the likes of Ron Springer, Chrissy Waddle, Hursty, Des Walker. So I'd just like to say a big thank you to Mr. Chansiri, to Carlos and to all the players this season. You've given us our pride back, and whatever happens at Wembley, it's been a fantastic season. We're Wednesday and we're on our way back.
Time now to resume my conversation with John Pearson. We've already spoken in some detail about the semi-final success against Brighton, as well as scratching the surface on the final itself against Hull City. But of course Wednesday have got previous experience of a playoff final. That was back in 2005, and John Pearson was there the day that Wednesday overcame Hartlepool at the Millennium Stadium.
It was superb again. I remember the occasion more than the actual game. And the sort of, I remember, did we score first and they equalised, and we ended up going to extra time, and they got a player sent off, and there was the penalty. But I think more than anything, the occasion, the amount of support that we took down there that day. I remember the night before I was working for Radio Sheffield, and we went and interviewed Paul Sturrock, so that was fabulous. And then it was just the absolute occasion, the way the team went about the job and the amount of support that we took down there, it was absolutely superb.
And of course Lee Bullen was part of that team that enjoyed success in 2005, and we've got others in the squad who've got that playoff experience. What role do you think they'll have in firing the boys up for an occasion like this?
I don't think we'll need firing up, but I think what Lee can do is pass on his experience of that game. You know, you look at Hull, I think they've been there 3 times in the last 4 years or so. So they've played at Wembley, they've got players with that experience. So if Lee can pass a little bit of experience of a playoff final down to the side, I'm sure it can only be a benefit.
It kind of emphasises though, doesn't it, how long Wednesday been toiling outside of the Premier League when you think that the Millennium Stadium experience was 11 years ago. Can you believe that? 11 years ago that was.
Yeah, like we said earlier, we know we've had so many ups and downs, and you know, coming back and then going back down again, and I hate that League One. Can't stand it. We'll never ever go back down there again, and you know, never ever go back there. But you know, we've got a massive occasion. We've got a different set of players. It's a completely different club now to what it was 11 years ago. But Lee Bullen has got that experience, and if he does pass it down and it helps the lads, then brilliant.
I just want you to take your mind back a little bit though to your memories of the day. Just take us through the journey in Cardiff, and you know, obviously it ended in triumph in the end after extra time, but you know, again, there were some nervy moments in that. We were 2-1 down, of course, at one stage.
Yeah, and to be fair, Hartlepool that day, they put up a great show. You know, they'd not got as many fans. We took the ground over, and you know, they were massive underdogs, but they gave us a game, and it went the full distance. You know, it ended with a sending off. We got a penalty, slightly fortunate. But I do think you need a little bit of luck in these playoffs.
Brand new experiences for both. Sheffield Wednesday and Hartlepool taking place in a playoff final for the first time.
Just a perfect day. Drink sangria in the park. And then later, when it gets dark, we go home.
Over 40,000 have made the trip from the Steel City. Sheffield Wednesday, 4 times champions of England, 70 years of top flight experience.
I think Hartlepool are rocking at the moment. It's important that we take advantage of this stage of the game.
Oh, it's such a perfect day. I'm glad I spent it with you.
And the Wednesday fans are bringing the house down. Wednesday's army has gone balmy. Wednesday 1, Hartlepool United 0. Another step closer towards Championship football, and it's JP who's got it.
Humphreys into the 6-yard area, flicked onto the back post. Hartlepool have equalised. It's Effian Williams stealing in the back post.
Bending away from goal, it's a header and a goal. Wednesday are behind, not an in. Hartlepool have the lead. They've come back from a goal down. John Daly, what an introduction. He's only been on the field to play a minute.
McGovern, he curls one in, and there's Talbot. He's snatched at it, might get a second chance.
Penalty. The referee's blown a penalty. Drew Talbot was clipped there as he went for the ball.
Westwood's gone. McLean to put Wednesday back in the match. Macquarie's back. He has found the back of the net. Steve McLean is back. His 20th goal of the season. Wednesday will not go down without a fight.
Oh, such a perfect day. You just keep
McLean peels off, still Glenn Whelan! Glenn Whelan for Sheffield Wednesday! What a goal! What a moment!
Talbot is beyond the last man, he's going to bear down on goal. This would really wrap it up. Drew Talbot round the goalkeeper. Yeah! Wednesday are promoted to the Championship, and it's the teenager who guarantees Championship football. Again to a dramatic game in a dramatic season.
You're going to read just what
his first season as captain. What a way to end it. Sheffield Wednesday are back. Let the party begin in the Steel City.
Great memories there from that day out in Cardiff. Of course, we've been to Wembley before. I mean, that was an awful long time ago. That was 25 years ago. It's kind of ironic though, isn't it? It was only the other week that you were doing a celebratory dinner.
Yeah. I mean, the class of '91, a fantastic night. We got good attendance from the players. You know, the camaraderie was clear for everybody who turned up on that night. And we seem to have got that. I think it's a massive part of a football club when you've got that camaraderie. And I think that when you look at the way the players celebrate at the end of games, Atty goes up to the crowd, and you know, Fernando Forestieri comes back and salutes everybody. In fact, they all do, you know, Carlos included. And it just shows that we're a club that's together. And I think that's a massive boost for any side.
That team that beat Manchester United at Wembley, it played some fantastic football, some great players, and that was down in large part to the manager, Big Ron Atkinson. And is it fair to say that in Carlos Carvalhal we've now got a manager who's got a team that's playing in a similar way, and we've got players that maybe are on par with that group?
Like I said, I mean, I did go to that final, but I didn't watch Wednesday every week at that time because I was still playing myself. But you know, I think we've got a fantastic team. It's difficult to compare eras. You know, everybody looks back and, you know, remember, I mean, Chris Waddle, what a player he was, David Hurst, John Sheridan. You can go through, you know, hopefully the side that we've got will become legends like they are as well.
But they retain the ball in the same way that this current group does.
Yeah.
If you look after the football, you know, you don't treat the ball as an alien almost, you know, you want to get rid of it. You know, these guys are all comfortable in possession, and it makes life 10 times easier, doesn't it, if you're not just giving possession straight back to the opposition?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a different style of play this season, and we've got a new pitch. I think Stuart Gray would have liked to have played that style of football, but he didn't have the surface to play it on. But you know, everything's changed about Sheffield Wednesday, and we've certainly got a fantastic set of players.
A word on Carlos then. What about what he's brought to the table? What makes him so good for you?
I think his manner, I think the way he treats people, the way he treats the players, the fans, he's got an aura about him. And you know, he's just gelled. He's got those players, and it didn't happen straight away. It didn't happen from week one. We won the first game against Bristol City, but then we had a little dip, and it could have gone. You know, it could have gone either way. But he gelled everybody. You know, brought in a couple of players as well, and it made a massive difference.
I suppose huge credit also has to go to the chairman, Mr. Chansiri. You know, he probably took a gamble on Carlos, because let's be honest, you didn't know an awful lot about the manager. Nobody you asked knew a lot in this country. You know, he's obviously done his homework, and we're reaping the rewards now, aren't we?
Well, as I said, I mean, you've only got to look round the ground to see the changes that have been made in such a short time. But the changes that are visible, the changes that are not visible, you know, and there's a hell of a lot of work gone into Sheffield Wednesday this year, and you know, I think that would be a just reward to be given Premier League football.
Yeah, it was 14 months ago that Mr. Chansiri took over at Sheffield Wednesday, and we've made massive strides in that time. I mean, I don't think you can quite believe the pace of change, really.
No, from where we were and to where we are now, you know, we're possibly 90 minutes away from the Premier League. I wouldn't have entered your head. It wouldn't have entered your head 14 months ago. You know, but here we are. This is where we find ourselves.
Yeah, we can be quite biased at the best of times, to be fair, but I think neutrals now watch Sheffield Wednesday. When we're on Sky, when we're the TV game, they actually think, do you know what, Wednesday's worth watching, which I don't think necessarily was the case for the last few years, because the quality of player we put out, you're going to be entertained, you're going to see good football.
Without a doubt. I mean, I think Steve Bruce, to be fair, comes across really well, and I listened to his interview after they'd beaten Derby, and he talks about how poorly they'd played that night. But he also spoke about Wednesday, and what he said this is the best Wednesday side. He said, I said 6 months ago that they'd be challenging in the playoffs, and that's a really good thing for an opposition manager to say. And he's right. He's right.
It's a huge game for obvious reasons, and over the years, the playoffs have been dramatic and probably they've been going 30 years now, I believe. So somebody told me, I was shocked at that, but they've made the end of the season a really truly great spectacle. I've had a few big games, and this ranks up with, of course, the biggest one for a long time because of what's at stake. You know, if you can get into the Premier League now, it can really secure your club with the amount of money which is washing about. It's quite unbelievable. So for a club like ours, it would make a huge big difference. How do you handle it? It's like any other big game. Once you wake up on the Saturday morning, you wake up and you put yourself into action. You start. It's part of what you do. I said when we played them in, I think it was October, that's the best Sheffield Wednesday team I've seen for a long time. They've quietly gone about their business with new owners, they've got new manager in, new players, a new group of players, and at the top end of the pitch they've got some very good players. So I'm not surprised that Sheffield are there. They'll take a huge following. So it should be a cracking atmosphere and always, as we've said many times, a big occasion. When you look at his CV, then it's, you know, he's been around the block a bit. So he's obviously experienced football in different countries, but certainly he's made a big impression in his first year. Is it his first year? It is. Yeah. His first year. He couldn't have wished for anything better, really. Well, he's one of the outstanding players in the league, so we're aware of that. You have to say he's a bit of a talisman. You know, he's given a free role, and as I've said many times, he's a good player. You have to say Hooper's done extremely well for him since he arrived from Norwich. Two wide lads have got good experience and a good player. So everywhere you look in the squad, if you finish 6th in the division and you've got this far, then you've got good players, and which we will respect, of course. It should have all the makings of a really good game. The league games were very tight. They dropped off this year and went. Whether that's going to be the same in a one-off and a Wembley occasion, I think, as I've said many times before now, the big word is to perform. One thing about a footballer that I've got used to is the one thing they don't worry about when they go onto the pitch is money. You know, all this £200 million game for them is to perform at the biggest stage, and who's going to be the hero if there's going to be one of them.
Joined now on Skype by Russell Yershin, who works for Titan Bet, of course one of the official partners of Sheffield Wednesday, sponsors of the West Stand. Russell, you were there for the first leg semi-final at Hillsborough against Brighton. A great night for all concerned. The second leg wasn't quite as straightforward, but eventually Wednesday got through and we're going to Wembley.
The first leg was absolutely spectacular. I've never seen Hillsborough like it. 34,500, every one of them cheering on the boys. The light flickering again was fantastic, and Wallace's first goal, followed by Kieran Lee's second goal, really put Wednesday in a great position to head to the Amex, and everybody put their bodies on the line in front of the Brighton attack and got Sheffield Wednesday through to Wembley this Saturday.
Now, I know you've thoroughly enjoyed your association with Wednesday this season, and you've become a Wednesday fan, I think, in the process. What was your emotions like, taking away your official hat? What was your emotions watching the game on Monday particularly?
Look, as you say, we've had a phenomenal partnership this season. We've really interacted with as many fans as possible. And on Monday night, my fingers were crossed. I had my head in my hands because Brighton came out the block so quickly. But the Sheffield Wednesday defence, led by Westwood, with Lees and Louvens, really everybody putting their bodies in front of the line just to get through that first 20-25 minutes, only one down, and then Wallace getting the crucial goal to settle everyone's nerves. The second half was a lot less ferocious in terms of Brighton troubling the Sheffield Wednesday goal. And once I was looking at the clock and it was 65, 70, 75, 80, the grin on my face became a lot wider. And as Sheffield Wednesday saw out the 90 minutes, and as you say, off to Wembley, and the celebrations after the match in front of the away travelling fans was a sight to behold. A few tears in the eyes of Sheffield Wednesday fans because, as the song goes, Carlos had a dream, and the dream is very close now.
Absolutely. In terms of those that perhaps won in other ways after the semi-finals. Did many Sheffield Wednesday fans do well in terms of bets they had on the games?
Yeah, absolutely. The first leg, Sheffield Wednesday were 6-5 to beat Brighton, and we had a fair few fans that came on that price. But also we had our 4-1 special prior to the Brighton game of Sheffield Wednesday to get promoted. So we've got quite a few fans holding on to that golden ticket of 4-1 Sheffield Wednesday to get promoted. So again, only one more game to go.
Absolutely. So what about the markets that are in place then for Saturday for this game against Hull City?
In terms of the match odds, the 90-minute odds, Hull are favourites at 6-5. It's 11-5 the draw, and we're 5-2, 2.5-1 Sheffield Wednesday to win in 90 minutes. And the price just reflects that Hull, they've got Premier League experience, they've got Premier League players that have played in the Premier League, and they've also played at Wembley. They've been at Wembley 3 times over the last few years. So in terms of how we're pricing it, we just feel that the likes of Livermore, Huddleston, Hernandez, El Mohammadi, the Hull players have that extra experience versus the Sheffield Wednesday players. So that's why Hull are favourites. But at 5-2, is it written in the stars that Sheffield Wednesday are heading back to the Premier League and can beat Hull in 90 minutes? For me, the second leg, watching Hull against Derby, again, that really delighted me a lot because Hull were superb in the first leg at the iPro, and I was really worried that if they performed again in the home leg as they did away, that Hull would be even further favourites. But for me, losing 2-0 to Derby, that really gives me, and I think should give a lot of the Sheffield Wednesday fan base heading down to Wembley a lot of encouragement, because I know, and I believe the Sheffield Wednesday fans know, that with the good footballers that we have in the team with Wallace and Bannon, Forestieri and Hooper, that we can cause them problems. And in a one-off game, I think Sheffield Wednesday can get the job done, and 5-2 to win in 90 minutes is a great price.
I guess the process in terms of compiling the odds for games, you don't have much say in that side of things, because I think you would probably be having Wednesday to win all the way, wouldn't you?
I would have the prices a lot closer than they are, but again, our traders just look at historical evidence. And as you say, Hull did finish above Wednesday in the league. And although both league games were draws, 1-0 at Hillsborough and 0-0 away at Hull, our traders just feel in terms of price that Hull are worthy favourites, but not for me.
Wallace, of course, who I can see pictures just behind you there, he scored such a crucial goal for Wednesday in that second leg. It just calmed the nerves at a time when Wednesday were up against it, as you say, that they had an onslaught that they faced for the first half hour. Was he fancied to score at Wembley? For me, we've got a cracking special here, and I think it's worthy of Sheffield Wednesday fans logging on to titanbet.co.uk. It's 14-1. It's a big price, 14-1 of Wallace to score and Sheffield Wednesday to win in 90 minutes. But if you just fancy Wallace to score first, as he did in the first leg against Brighton, that's an even bigger price at 16-1. Well, of course, anything can happen in a final. It might not be settled in 90 minutes. It could go to 120 minutes. It may even go to penalties. What odds on that?
We've got 10-1 for Sheffield Wednesday to win in extra time, and 9-1 Sheffield Wednesday to win if it goes to 120 minutes, and Sheffield Wednesday to win on penalties. A few other specials that we've got, looking at the two top men, for me the key men to score for Sheffield Wednesday. It's 6-1 Hooper to score any time and Sheffield Wednesday to win, and it's also 6-1 Forestieri to score and Sheffield Wednesday to win. In terms of previous playoff finals, the stats suggest there actually won't be many goals. We make it 7-5 over 2.5 goals and 8-13 to odds on under 2.5 goals. So for me, 1-0 Sheffield Wednesday at 7-1, 2-0 Sheffield Wednesday at 11-1 could well be the key correct scores for Wednesday fans to back them to get the job done in 90 minutes.
Now, of course, they haven't got long to get those bets placed, kicking off at 5 p.m. At Wembley Stadium, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as the game kicks off, we go in play with our in-play betting, of which we'll have over 100 markets. But to sign up, to register for an account, If Wednesday fans could log on to titanbet.co.uk/SWFC, and once they bet £10 on the game, once their first bet is settled, they'll get £20 in free bets. And as I say, the big market that we're pushing is 5-2 Sheffield Wednesday to win and beat Hull in the 90 minutes.
Finally, I think for the Wednesday fans, though, whatever happens at Wembley, they'll all look back at what has been a fantastic season, perhaps against the odds as well, because at the beginning of the campaign, nobody really gave the Owls a chance of getting promoted.
You're absolutely right. The price on Sheffield Wednesday to get promoted before the season ranked between 8-1 and 10-1. And at the start of the season, Wednesday just couldn't get many wins together in a row to get that consistency moving. But as it got to November and the turn of the year, massively upturn in performance. Forestieri, Hooper and Wallace really came to the fore. I think there was 5 or 6 games unbeaten run, and most of them were wins, which really took Wednesday from around about 9th place up to 6th place. And where there was around about 6 or 7 teams, including Cardiff, QPR, Birmingham and Ipswich, that were all fighting for that 6th place, Wednesday really took it by the scruff of the neck, made it their own. And then towards the back end of the season, when other teams were faltering, Wednesday got over the line, and that 3-0 home win against Cardiff, which ultimately made 6th place secure, was enough to obviously put us in the place where we are now, to play Brighton, beat Brighton, and now we're one step away from the promised land.
When did your customers start thinking, you know what, Sheffield Wednesday might be a contender to actually go back up to the Premier League? When did you start getting a flurry of activity?
It was mid-February, which I believe was a 5-match winning run which Wednesday had. And again, I think that was quite a few clean sheets as well. So Westwood, Louvens, Lees, Pewdle and Hunt, those 5, they're going to be crucial on Saturday night with the attacking force of Hull. And those clean sheets, I can't remember the top of my head, but a few wins that really pushed Wednesday from 9th position to 6th position. And the likes of QPR, Birmingham, Ipswich, they really faded away as Wednesday really got that promotion push moving. And as we said, made the latter part of the season really quite comfortable for Wednesday to get in that 6th place.
Now, you might not have this information to hand, but is there anybody out there that's had a cheeky little bet early on that stands to make an awful lot of money on Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, we do have one customer that had a 2 figures of between £20 and £50 on Sheffield Wednesday to get promoted at 8-1. So that customer's really has again a nice golden ticket should Sheffield Wednesday get promoted. We will be gladly paying out on them to get promoted this weekend.
Well, let's hope that you are paying out. I know bookmakers don't like to hear that, but on this occasion I think you'll allow that.
Absolutely. Look, we're a partner of Sheffield Wednesday. We want Sheffield Wednesday to do well. This is our first season as a partner. Again, we didn't expect for this to happen, if I'm honest, but we're glad that it has. And yes, we'll be taking a few customers to Wembley, and they're really pleased to be joining Titan Bet at Wembley against Hull. So, and it could be a lucky omen for myself. I'm actually an Arsenal fan, so the last time I was at Wembley, Arsenal beat Hull 3-2 in extra time. So hopefully this Saturday it can be the same, where the team I'm supporting, Sheffield Wednesday, can beat Hull.
Now, you shouldn't have mentioned Arsenal, because last time I was at Wembley, Arsenal gave me a miserable evening.
I was there for those 2 games, but I think now we're up against Hull, and I just think the last time I was there, Hull got defeated, and this time it can be the same.
Just finally then, Russ, just remind the Wednesday fans how they go about placing a bet with Titan Bets. How do they do it?
It's titanbet.co.uk/SWFC. Sign up today, and once you bet £10, once that bet's settled, you get £20 in free bets. And the big bet that we're promoting is 5-2 Sheffield Wednesday to beat Hull in the 90 minutes.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.